In today's show, Brandon Sprague is back on the program and we play a game. What's more likely? It's a whole bunch of fun. Let's get into it. Welcome to Locked On Blazers.
You are Locked On Trailblazers, your daily Portland Trailblazers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What up, world? It's your past first point guard and Trailblazers reporter, Mike Richmond. You're listening to another episode of Locked On Blazers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, available wherever you get podcasts and also on YouTube. Thanks for making this show your first listen. Coming at you 3 days a week, all August long and into the first couple weeks of September. We take about 6 weeks, dropping down to 3 days a week. Then we'll be back 5 days a week, wherever you get podcasts and also on YouTube. Always free on all your platforms. Today's show, it's a Friday episode. Brandon Sprague's here. We're going to play a game. Let's do it. Joining me now, Brandon Sprague, 1080 The Fan, Jacked Ramseys. You've heard him on the microphone. You've heard him here all week long. He's back for show number 3. You're listening to Friday's program. We're heading into the weekend, and we're going to have a little bit of fun. Brandon Sprague, we're going to play a game. It's called What's More Likely. I'm going to give you 2 things, and you're going to tell me what's more likely. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Shaedon Sharpe wins Most Improved Player. Donovan Clingan wins Rookie of the Year. What's more likely?
Donovan Clingan wins Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I think that one's a pretty easy one. We started out with a softball. Clingan has an okay path to Rookie of the Year. Not an obvious one, but I think he has an okay path. The only thing in his way is minutes, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think, and I would add to it, I think DA, if DA is here at the trade deadline, it's kind of one of my lingering, it's building into a hot take. I wouldn't be shocked if they trade DA at the deadline. If he comes out, good soldier, comes out, plays well, the way he did at the end of the year, he'll be a commodity. Again, that goes to our earlier conversation on a couple pods ago of like, do they strike or do they just wait patiently? His minutes will be the biggest problem of Rookie of the Year stuff. But I look at this rookie class and I'm like, who scares me that they're going to dominate Rookie of the Year and win that award? Maybe it's Reed Sheppard, but I also am not going to be sold on Reed Sheppard doing it in Houston in the regular season against real NBA players versus what he did in the Summer League. The Shaedon one, that's an easy thing to say no to. Mike, you know as well as I do, Kobe White got screwed last year, correct? We can agree with that.
Yep.
We both
go Tar Heels.
Yeah, everybody knew Tyrese Maxey was going to be good last year. But that's how that stupid award gets thrown out. It's like the most obvious player that's going to be good. Oh my God, here he is. He gets the award. Shaedon's a year away from getting that award.
Yeah, it is a weird one, right? It's like this dude had a breakout last season. He's going to get an even bigger role this year. Some of it is like James Harden left and he kept them afloat a little bit, but it was like the person who improved the most last season was Kobe White.
Yes.
If you want to look at the player whose game improved the most from one year to it's Kobe White. That's like so. Yeah, I think also a lot of times it'll be like a first-time All-Star type of guy, like Maxey, and I don't think Shaedon Sharpe has a path to an All-Star game. If he does, I'll say this: if Shaedon Sharpe makes the All-Star team, book it. He's the most improved player. If Shaedon Sharpe's on the All-Star team in February, it means by virtue of it means the Blazers are pretty good and he's their best player, and then he's going to win MIP because he'll have it locked up. We won't even have to talk about it. If Shaedon Sharpe makes the All-Star team in February, he has that thing locked up. He's not going to make the All-Star team. It's not going to be a conversation. Not going to have it locked up. Yeah, I'm with you. Donovan Clingan, Rookie of the Year. Okay, next one. Some of these are going to have. I'm going to give you some context here. What's more likely? DeAndre Ayton shoots 200 free throws or 50 3-pointers. 200 free throws would match his career high. And he has never taken more than 24 threes in a season, and he's taken 90 in 6 years. So what's more likely, 200 free throws or 50 3-pointers?
I am going to go, I'm going 3-pointers. This team's going to suck. And I think if he's going to have a good start to his season, the one thing he's going to add to the trade value and to make himself a more viable contending candidate, it's going to be like, hey, DeAndre Ayton kind of shooting 3-pointers. Is it reliable? Like, it's going to become a first take type topic in NBA circles. He just isn't aggressive enough for me to see him setting a career high in free throws. It's kind of been one of the negatives of him is he just doesn't get to the line. And again, 50 3-pointers is a lot given what you just told me. But I think if there's one more likely, the coach might be on his last season. It certainly feels that way. There's a lot of rookies on this team or unexperienced players. Jeremy could be moved. Ant could be moved. I could see DA going, well, I'm still here, baby. I'm jacking him up and shooting more threes. I just don't think he's going to get to the free throw line that much.
I would lean that too. I also think like if they play some minutes with him and Clingan together, one of them will have to stand further away from the rim. Hopefully they can figure out how to let DA stand where he's comfortable at 17 feet along the baseline. But if they have to ask him to move all the way out to 22.5 feet to get 50% more points, I think he could do it. I would lean 53 pointers. I think he comes up short on both. give me both. Yeah, but what's more likely? What's more likely? Deni Avdija has a triple double, or hold on. What's more likely? Deni Avdija has 4 triple doubles, or Donovan Clingan blocks 180 shots. Here's the math for you. Clyde Drexler has the most triple doubles in Blazers history single season. He has 4 twice. It would match Clyde's record 4 in a season. That's it's a big number. Donovan Clingan to block 180 shots. I got this number from Joel Prisbilla, who in his first season blocked 163 shots. That's 2.1 a game across 76 games and 50 starts, 24 minutes. So he would have to be better than Priz was in his first season here. And Priz got DPOY votes, got most improved player votes. Who's going bigger? Deni at 4 triple doubles, or Donovan Clingan at 180 total blocks?
I feel like you're putting me into a corner here because I just picked Clingan more likely to win Rookie of the Year. So that would put him in the conversation by doing stuff like that. The problem is I think he's gonna do enough of it right away to get to such a large number. I think Deni could get to 4 triple doubles the way this team is built. I think he could do it in 35 games. It wouldn't shock me at all.
Now that's a take. Let's go.
I'm taking Deni 4 triple doubles in the season, and I'm taking it in under 41 games. Less than half the year in, he's going to have 4 triple doubles.
I do think he's going to be. It would be relatively easy for him to have triple doubles. I think he's going to get some relatively easy in the way that triple doubles are hard and sort of arbitrary, right? Because like 11 rebounds and 9 assists is also a good game.
Right.
But it's like 12 and 8 is a really good game. It doesn't matter that he didn't have those other boards or whatever. Yeah, I think he could do it because I think he's going to get, there's rebounds to be had. Shoot, Jeremy's not getting them. He's going to get some passing opportunities, and I think you can put him down for, 15 easy points every night. So it's, I think he'd get there. 4 seems like a lot, but 180 blocks seems crazy. I'll lean Deni too, but this one was, I was thinking outside the bun here. I was trying to give you some stats that maybe you wouldn't have initially thought of.
You went to a massive number. I mean, Prisbilla's is 163. I don't know why you went 17 more.
Because 4 triple doubles is so many. 4 triple doubles is so.
It is
like at okay, 4 to 160. Let's call it 160. You'd probably still take the triple doubles, right?
I'd probably still take the triple double. Yeah.
Because it's like, is Clingan going to play 25 minutes a night and average over 2 blocks a game?
I don't know if I can answer yes on that. The other thing is, like, I think Deni's going to have a lot of opportunities. I think you mentioned it there, like 10 points, 9 assists, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 10 assists. He's going to be flirting with it so much that I just think he's going to we see players like this. They fall into it sometimes. He's not going to be Russell Westbrook or Luka, but I think he can have 4. Yeah.
He might be Russell Westbrook mixed with Luka.
Okay. There's a hot take for you. Now
that's right. They're gonna have to build a new wing of the Hall of Fame for my man Deni. Okay, I got three more for you. Join us in that second segment, won't ya? But first, I want to tell you that today's show is brought to you by eBay Motors. There's 3 words you need to know: passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Whether that's superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed or power or style, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You're always going to find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit. Only available to U.S. customers. All right, still chatting with Brandon Sprague. Brandon, we're playing What's More Likely. What's more likely? Chauncey Billups signs a contract extension, or Anthony Simons signs a contract extension?
Oh my God, that's the hardest one you've given me yet, and
We're getting a little harder.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I think I'm going to lean Chauncey. There's not a world where this makes sense for Ant anymore. I know the previous guy loved to double down and not back out of players that he loved. But it just doesn't make sense for Ant to want to be.
Are we sure the current guy doesn't like that?
No, I mean, he was a part of that regime, so I can't confidently say that that's not a thing for him. Man, at this point, Ant has got to ask out. It just doesn't make any sense to sign here. What are you doing? I wouldn't get that move at all from a career standpoint. Chauncey, I think, is a lame duck coach. I've heard some stuff this offseason that's been very interesting off record with him. And I don't think he'll be back. But also, like, I don't know if this team knows who they want to hire. And so, like, it wouldn't be the most surprising thing if they're like, you know what? Let's just keep this going. Maybe you can keep learning. Like, Chauncey is openly telling you, I didn't know what the hell I was doing in year one. It's basically what he's doing on podcasts right now. And it's like, well, that's concerning. And here he is. He's going into year 4, the last year of his contract, unless the team picks up the option. I'm going to go Chauncey Billups extension.
You want to know why I don't think Chauncey Billups is going to get a contract extension? I'll lean Anthony Simons on this one because he keeps going on podcasts. You don't go on podcasts if you love your job. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have like limited job security and you really want it, like, you just don't go tell stories about a random Blazers player doing something silly on Instagram. Like, you don't put yourselves in that position, right? You don't really see this very often. And I think, I think Chauncey going on Sheed's podcast and then on Carmelo's podcast, I know these are like legitimately his friends and his people. But like, it's not the, just like, think about it like as a normal employee. That would be like if one of your homies was just like going out and like doing a bunch of other radio hits and kind of acting crazy. You'd be like, he probably doesn't want to work at the station much longer. Like, he's probably ready to do something else.
Yeah, Dirt's hopping on the radio shows and he's like, yeah, let me tell you about a time I was co-hosting with this guy in Portland and it was a Tuesday and he came in and like, I'd be like, yo, that's clearly about me. I'm with you 100%. I know we're playing a game and we've done a couple of these. I think it's also one of the more fascinating parts of this organization is there's clearly I wouldn't say rift because I think they have respect for each other, but there's clearly a lame duck vibe going on here where we know what's happening and like there's just not being talked about really.
Yeah, it's letting senioritis run the tank seems really it's like, yeah. I was a pretty bad student my senior year.
Pretty massive year for Scoot, as we've talked about on a couple pods ago. And it's like, how are you going to help him? We're going to have a coach who's not going to be here next year. Awesome. Who is? Okay. All right. I can't wait.
Yeah, but he'll probably be on Bill Simmons in January. Okay. What's more likely? Scoot has 6 games shooting north of, what's more likely? Scoot has 25 games shooting north of 55% from the floor, or the Blazers have 25 wins. Here's a little context for you. Last year, Scoot did it 6 times. 6 times he shot north of 55% from the floor. In year 2, De'Aaron Fox did it 18 times. So if you believe in the De'Aaron Fox track, 18 times. 25. What's more likely? Scoot Henderson has 25 games where he shoots north of 55% from the floor, or the Blazers win a 25th game.
Oh, my God. Scoot, and I'm not happy or confident with that answer. There's no chance this team's winning more games next year, given the draft is supposed to be significantly deeper, including maybe a generational player that we all just watched go against Team USA and Cooper. They cannot bring themselves to be better. It would make it, if they are better than they were last year, no matter how, we need to be having open-ended conversations of, what the hell is the organization doing? It would make no logical sense to do that. And I am not confident in the Scoot stat, but brother, I am confident in hammering the under because I think this team is going to aim to be bad. So begrudgingly choosing Scoot there.
Oof. I'll go wins hesitantly.
Mike, they cannot win 25 games. How are you better? How do you get better in the year you should be worse?
Buddy, I'm picking against Sterling.
Oh,
I'm picking against him. 25 games north of 55 is a lot for someone who shot like him at the rim and shot like him from three. 55 is a bunch. And I didn't pick 50. No 2 for 4 nights, baby. You got to earn it. Yeah. You got to go 3 for 5. You got to.
That's what it would be. It would be 3 for 5. It wouldn't, it wouldn't be a much higher.
11 of 16. Yeah, he's not going to 11 of 16. Exactly. Yeah. I'll go. Listen, these are hard on purpose. Okay, next one for you. What's more likely? Jeremy Grant plays a game for the Portland Trail Blazers in the month of April, or Robert Williams plays 42 games for the Portland Trail Blazers. For context, Jeremy Grant hasn't played a game in April since 2021, has not played a game in April since 2021. And that was a year was delayed a little bit. The regular season went into May, and Robert Williams has played a total of 41 games the last 2 seasons.
I don't think Jeremy's played past like March 12th once or whatever that date is for Portland since he got here. Oh my God, Mike. It would make no sense for either of these to happen.
It'd be pretty tough. What's more likely?
Rob Williams, because he won't play enough minutes to get hurt. They will baby this way back. He will slowly build, and when I mean slow, he'll play 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes. They'll tap it at 10. They'll want just enough to show like, hey, trade sample sizes here, or we want him to have almost a whole year of recovery while still showing he can be an NBA player because the Clinger's going to be our starting center next year, and we think he's a good backup. Jeremy, it makes no sense. Jeremy's never played past like mid-March. He's not playing in April in the Blazers.
0% chance he plays in April because he might not be on the team. He's fairly likely to get traded prior to getting to April, right? He's fairly likely to get traded in early February. And if he is, boy, are they going to be egregious what they're losing. So yeah, I'll lean Rob Will too, but this one I don't know. Our middle segment here today, a little challenging for you. I put a little juice into this one. Okay, let's close the show. I got 3 more what's more likely's for you. Still a pass first point guard. I'm still Mike Richmond. You are still listening to Locked On Blazers. Still chatting with Brandon Sprague, host of Jacked Ramseys, and also Durden Sprague, 6 to 9 a.m. on 1080 The Fan. What's more likely, Brandon? The Blazers make 0 trades, or the Blazers make 3 trades this season?
Most likely is the Blazers make 3 trades this season.
Yeah. 0 seems like a crime, like a straight up, like maybe we should call the authorities, what's going on here type of thing. Like if they just like run through the season with the same squad, we might need to call the higher ups on this one.
If they have 0 trades, I'm not exaggerating. 0 people should be supporting this organization. 0. There is no excuse to have 0 trades this year, given what they're aiming to do, who they want to try to get on the team, and what's currently sitting on the roster.
Yeah, baked into this is I think 3 is a lot. I think 3 just like in and of itself is a lot. I would lean 3 as well here, but I just think that's a high number. Certainly 0 is there's no chance. Like they're going to do something that the roster just kind of demands it. Okay. What's more likely? Ryan Rupert 30 piece, Chris Murray 30 piece.
Chris Murray.
Okay. Chris Murray's career high is 21. Ryan Rupert's career high is 13.
Yeah. I mean, look, I know I know what you said about Chris. I've said what I said about Chris. You haven't really given me a Rupert take, and like I'm out there. Like I don't. Here's my Rupert take. Yeah. Here's
my Rupert take. The Blazers don't really believe in him either. They drafted him as a teenager in the second round. You know, like they knew that it was worth a shot. It might not work out, and they're cool if it doesn't work out. You go in and you take a flyer on someone. He definitely has tools. Like he's the right size, and he clearly has interest in playing defense. But he just like. On offense, he's only an off-ball guy. He's only an off-ball guy. And it's hard to be his size and not like a lights-out shooter. And he shot fine his rookie season. He just didn't get treated like it. So, like, I think 30 is a lot for my man because he just doesn't create any shots for himself. I think that's a bunch.
It's like a mid-April game. They're playing the Hornets. And like at that point, the rosters.
Everybody gets the Hornets on these, man. Remember when Jason Tatum was like, yeah, it's a Tuesday night and you're playing the Hornets on NBA TV and nobody's watching. And they're like, it's like, come on. Yeah. But yeah, they, not much else. Poor fellas. Yeah, I hear you. I think it's Murray because I think Murray is more like Murray knows how to play basketball, and I think like he's more likely to have just like a random night where he goes like 6 of 8 from 3, and it's like, damn, where was this? He's made 6 threes since December or whatever, and he makes like 6 threes in a game. I think that's much more likely. So, all right, here's the last one for you.
Okay,
what's more likely? The Blazers win a 35th game this season, or the Blazers fail to win an 18th game this season. In 1971-72, the Blazers had the worst record in franchise history. They won 18 games. Is it more likely that they sneak in and get a 35th win, or that they have the worst season in franchise history?
You can make a real argument. Winning 35 would be the worst season in their franchise's history.
It would probably be a pretty big mistake.
Just 18. I'm going 18. I don't think it'll get quite that low. They lost a coin flip to Charlotte last year for the 3rd worst, and they won 21. I think their over-under's 21.5 or 22, something like that.
According to the official betting partner of the Lockdown Podcast Network, FanDuel, the first line was 21.5.
21.5, and I'm taking the under of that. You get lucky once in a while, and you win a game that makes no sense, and some people argue, like, should they have won that game? I think they're going to go the other way and do what they can to possibly be number one. Now, you can point to the Pistons and say the Pistons have had the worst record in the league. Sprague, what's that? God, no. And I'd be like, the best statistical chance at the number 1 pick. I'll take that all day. So it's 18 wins, because if they get to 35, there's going to be some takes fired off that may not have great relationship building takes, but they need to be said nonetheless. It'd be a great.
What's your like ceiling for this team, like winning games? Like say they're like pretty good. You know, it's hard to like really start losing prior to January, right? Like you kind of got to just be natural bad for the first like 30 games or so. What's your kind of ceiling on how many wins you think they could get?
Well, because I don't actually trust them to be fully transparent, I think we like, hey, he tweaked his calf. He's out for 2 weeks. Like, okay, sure. We can all get a doctor's note when we need it. I'm going to say the ceiling of this team is 24 wins. I know they've got experience. I get it. I just do not buy a world where they're going to be allowing those veterans, if they're all on the team, to start the season like they did a couple years ago at, what was it, 10-4, and we're like, oh my God, they're actually kind of good, and then they just completely crapped the bed the rest of the way. It doesn't. I don't see it. I think they win like 2 games and they'll be like, Jeremy Grant is sick. He's out for 4 games, and you go, is it vid? Don't worry about it. HIPAA. I think that's what you're more likely to see than them actually, play. Because I've seen some takes. I've seen Twitter. I've seen the Reddits. And it's like, I don't know, man. This team full of veterans, they could actually. No. They will not be allowed to. So I think the minute they win like 2 games in a row, guys are going to suddenly pop up. Oh, he's out tonight. Calf injury. He's out tonight. Yeah, finger.
All types of tendonitis. Yes. Yeah. I think my high is 29. I think 29. Because I think they could screw around, and like Scoot Henderson's a lot better in year 2. And it's like, well, we kind of got to play him. Oh, dang it. And like Shaedon Sharpe is like pretty good. And they just like beat a bunch, and they win like, instead of like, I believe they lost at home to the Hornets, at home to the Pistons last year. They just win those games, right? They just win those, like, they just win the, like, Hornets caught another stray. They just win another, they just win those like stink games, right? Where it's like, I believe they also lost at home to the Spurs. So it's like, and the Wizards. Yeah. So it's like all these, they played like the other 4 worst teams in the league, and they lost to all of them on their home court. You win those as opposed to a 21 win team. You're a 25 win team or whatever. I think Nate Duncan, he did it like this. He was like, okay, how many games do I think they could win if they tried? Oh, okay, 29.
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah.
now I'll subtract from there because I know they won't let themselves get to that number. So I think like for me, 29-ish is about like the number I think they could win based on their talent and how good the West is because it's just brutal. So like if I had to pick a number, yeah, I'm 23-ish, 22.
Yeah. Well, the 29 one makes sense. I would understand it. The problem is you are in the West. And I think one of the takes is like, because I think there's going to be an egregious amount of tanking this year. And I've heard it. It's like, well, the West is harder, so they'll be okay. And I'm like, the top end of the East isn't a cakewalk. Like if Embiid and George play, you got Philly. I think Milwaukee could be better because Dame's going to be in shape. Boston's certainly going nowhere. Like Indiana could build on their juice. New York. Like I think the top of the East is going to be very difficult for the bottom of the East as well.
But the bottom of the East has like 7 teams that suck.
Yes,
that's the thing.
And
I have 7 teams that, and they're going to play each other. Like when the Wizards play the Nets, somebody has to win, right? And when Charlotte plays Chicago, somebody has to win. So I think some of those teams will just naturally. There'll be some natural teams that kind of rise to the middle in the East, just because there'll be some junk nights, a lot of junk league pass nights ahead.
But does Portland split with their East teams that are trash? Because I think those East teams all get swept by the top end West teams. And the other part of it, things underrated for Portland, they very well could win 29 games. But the reason I'm going 24 and you're going in that kind of ballpark, they're going to have a bunch of veterans who know what this is, but can't publicly say it. And so they'll just go out and try to get their numbers and not, I think, really care all that much if they win or lose. I think it kind of behooves.
I'll close on this. I'll let you get out of here. One time Chris Kaman was talking about playing on a bad team to me, and he was like, yeah, I mean, when you're on a team like that, maybe you're not playing as hard. Well, I mean, you're still playing hard, but it's a little bit. And I was like, Chris, I know what you mean, dog. Like, I'm not going to burn you for that. Like, I'm not like, I was trying to ask him like what it's like to be on a young team. And he was like, basically like, yeah, I mean, some nights you just like don't play very hard. And then he was like backtracking like in real time. It was pretty funny. So I was like, I think that's what we might see. It's like, it just, when you lower the stakes, right? When it's like winning is not necessary and maybe detrimental. Everybody feels that. Everybody feels that. It just changes the whole. It's how you lose by 60. It's how you lose by 60 twice.
Well, I mean, Mike, God, I hate saying this because it sounds like a shot. I don't mean it to be a shot. I really like the guy, actually. He seems like he's got a good vibe. How many more nights is Jeremy Grant going to be more concerned about what his fit is than like whether they're going to win that game or not? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, he dresses very well. So most nights because he dresses so well. But like, yeah, I think one of the reasons that you trade the vets is because Anfernee Simons doesn't want to be here. He couldn't have been more clear of that in the spring, and that Jeremy Grant would be happy to be somewhere else. I don't think he's miserable here. He keeps posting nice pictures on Instagram of him going to taquerias in Northeast Portland and hopscotch with the family and the Japanese gardens. Like, I don't think he's miserable, but it's just like, would he be happier if the games were a little bit more important? Yeah, probably.
Or maybe he wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe that guy's figured life out and he's like, I got my contract. My family's happy.
$200 million and I get to just, yeah, here. Exactly. Yeah.
And I've done nothing. Like, it's, life could be worse in a different city, man. Put Jeremy Grant in Philly and see if his like 9 points and 4 rebounds and a loss to the Celtics sits well when he's like
4 rebounds.
Cheesesteak Factory. 4 rebounds. Like, he can't be posing at some cheesesteak factory. That ain't fine. In Portland, you could have the worst game of your life, but man, if you post a spot at our local taqueria, oh my God, you are a legend.
I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, listen. It's good. There is a world in which being bad makes it more fun, but I think the Blazers have pushed over the top where it's deeply unfun. Jeremy Grant averaged 3.5 rebounds last year. 4 would have been like a fat night. 4 would have been a fat night.
Is it really 3.5?
Yeah, 3.5 rebounds last year.
How tall is he listed at? 6'9"?
6'9", yeah.
We should go.
Listen,
I don't want to get any more trouble.
Listen, Brandon is available wherever you're looking for him. At Brandon Sprague on Twitter. He's on your radio every single day. It's 6 to 9 a.m. on 1080 The Fan. Check your AM dial. It's also streaming if you really want to get after it. Jacked Ramseys, they're on your podcast feeds. They're streaming on YouTube. They're doing the dang thing. Brandon and Deni do great work over there. Check them out. Brandon, you got anything else you want to plug?
No, man, thank you for letting me hop on. I know I'm bothering the feed here. It's a lot of me and you, but that was a fun game to play. And I think, despite how bad they're going to be, Mike, the real thing is there's a lot of interesting things about this team. We know they're not going to win, but there's a lot of interesting things. So it was nice to hop on the pod and chop it up with you. I'm a big fan of what you do, and keep up the great work.
Awesome, dude. Thanks for hanging out. I agree with you. I'll close on this. I think the most fun part about covering a bad team is that there's a bunch of stuff that's going to happen that you don't know about. The Duop Reiths, the Tumani Kamaras, the guys who come out of nowhere. And when the team is bad, it becomes easier to enjoy those little things because you desperately need them. The big stuff might be a little rocky this year, but I think there's going to be some small moments that you enjoy, and you'll be able to enjoy them right here. And maybe a little bit on 1080 The Fan, but Dirt's not watching the game, so Brandon will have to tell Brandon have to tell him about it. All right, dear listeners, come back next week. Guess what? We're doing 3 more shows. It's what we do. Available on all your podcast platforms, available on YouTube. Tell your friends about the program. 3 a week, all August long and into the first couple weeks of September. Then we'll be back to 5 days a week, making it happen. I appreciate you listening. I'll talk to you soon.